Chapter 18 is called Fish Legs. Stoic was waiting for them in the pouring rain on the long beach. Stoic was furious. He'd only just found out that Hiccup had not spent the night at this Snotlight's house, and Snotlight had told him that she'd seen Hiccup and Kamikaze sneaking away in a sleigh from the Thursday Eve celebrations, heading out to sea, out onto the great sea of ice. When Stoic demanded why Snotlight had not told him this earlier, Snotlight could not answer. Snotlight could hardly give the real reason, which is that he'd been rather hoping that Hiccup would do something rather stupid and dangerous, and he didn't want Stoic rushing out to save him at the last minute. But Stoic the Vast saw the real reason in Snotlight's eyes, and in the delighted way that Snotlight looked out at the melted ice in the harbour. Snotlight was pleased that Hiccup could have drowned somewhere out in that grey, grim sea. For the first time, Stoic realised that Snotlight might not be the best choice of friend for his son Hiccup. I'm afraid that Stoic the Vast gave Snotlight an old-fashioned spanking. This was the Dark Ages. Stoic then ran to the long beach to see if they could see what was going on, and to his massive relief, the first thing he clapped eyes on, peeking through the icebergs out to sea, was the tattered round shape of his son's funny little boat, the Hopeful Puffin. "What in Thor's name do you think you've been doing?" roared Stoic the Vast, storming up to them as the nose of the Hopeful Puffin landed on the sand. Hiccup, who appeared to have turned an extraordinary blue colour, clambered out of the boat and looked his enraged father straight in the eyes. "I've been to Hysteria to try and bring back a potato to save Fishlegs' life," said Hiccup. Stoic exploded. "I absolutely forbade you to do any such thing," bellowed Stoic the Vast. "How dare you disobey me, your chief, and risk your lives looking for a vegetable that never existed on a wild goose chase for nothing?" Tears poured down Hiccup's face. "The potato does exist," he interrupted his father. "It does exist because we stole it, and Norman Archer had merely chopped our heads off, but you were right, it was all for nothing because the Doomfang ate it, and now Fishlegs is going to die." Stoic the Vast anger could not last in the face of the most hopeless, utter misery in his son's eyes. His face melted away. His fury melted away like the snow dissolving into rain all around them on the beach. He patted his son awkwardly on the shoulder. Now, son," he said uncertainly. "Of course Fishlegs isn't going to die." Hiccup pushed his father out of the way and stumbled over the sand to old Wrinkly's house, followed by Stoic the Vast, Kamikaze, Toothless and One Eye. He flung open the door without knocking. Old Wrinkly was standing in the middle of the room, poking the fire with a metal stick. For a moment, Hiccup couldn't see Fishlegs, and then he realised Fishlegs was on the bed. He was lying completely still, his glasses off, white as a corpse. "Ah, that is poor Fishleg." Hiccup's heart stopped, and then to Hiccup's unspeakable relief, Fishleg sat up and put his glasses on. He was still alive then. Stoic the Vast, Kamikaze, Toothless and One Eye, the saber-toothed driver, filed into the room after Hiccup. "Well," roared Stoic the Vast, "is Fishlegs dying or is he not?" Old Wrinkly looked very embarrassed. He shifted guiltily from foot to foot. "Oh, yes, Stoic, I'm so glad you brought that up. Yes, the thing is, I'm not sure that Fishlegs is dying after all." "What do you mean, not dying?" yelled Stoic the Vast. "I'm afraid my diagnosis wasn't completely correct." Old Wrinkly giggled nervously. "Soothsaying from afar is very complicated. I won't go into the details, but take it from me, it's tricky. And what with one thing and another, it turns out that Fishlegs didn't have pulpintitis after all. It was just a bad cold that set off his berserk tendencies. I nursed him back to health with lots of bed rest and lemon and honey." Fishlegs stood up slightly wobbly and gave Stoic the Vast a big smile. "I'm fine," said Fishlegs happily, throwing wide his arms. Hiccup couldn't believe it. It was going to be all right after all. "He's alive!" cried Hiccup joyously over the moon at this uncomplicated happy ending, and he rushed over to hug his friend. Toothless gave Fishlegs a lick on the ear, which was a big compliment from Toothless. One Eye drawled, well, that was all worth it, wasn't it?" And Kamikaze did a couple of celebratory cartwheels. But Stoic wasn't going to take this lying down. "Do you mean to tell me," roared Stoic to Arsenal Wrigley, "that all because of your lousy soothsaying, my son Hiccup has gone all the way to hysteria and nearly got his head chopped off by Norbert the Nutjoe and faced the Doomfang, all for nothing?" "Well, not for nothing, Stoic," explained old Wrigley. "If you'll just listen a moment, I'll explain. Soothsaying is a very tricky business, and when I looked in the fire—" "Did fish eggs have a Vorpentitis, or did he not?" interrupted Stoic. "No, he didn't," admitted old Wrigley. "Then the kickback was completely unnecessary," roared Stoic. "Don't give old Wrigley a hard time, Father," said Hiccup. "Why waste time getting angry when all's well that ends well?" Hiccup started to laugh, but something in the middle of the laugh went wrong when Hiccup's left arm suddenly went dead. Hiccup looked down at his arm in surprise. "I can't feel my arm," said Hiccup. And then the other arm went dead. Hiccup had been feeling rather hot all day, but he suddenly felt as if he was burning alive. Sweat poured down his face, and great clouds of steam rose up off his shoulders and chest. And Hiccup Horrendous, Haddocks the Third's entire body went rigid as a statue, his eyes staring and bloodshot, and he fell down lifeless on the bed where Fish Legs had been lying just 2 minutes before, and that is Hiccup lying down. Well, there is an unexpected twist I didn't expect. Chapter 19 is called The Final Chapter. I'm going to read that tomorrow. And sometimes it's not until the final chapter that you realise what a quest has really been about all along. So we'll hear that